Shalom, everyone. Today we'll discuss the first blessing before the Shema in the morning. And in order to understand some of the terms, I brought a few verses to show the different actions or verbs that were used for creation. So, of course, the very first verse is Bereshit bara Elokim. So the word Bria usually means creation. But at the end, it says two different words. It says, "Vayivarach Elohim et yom hashvi'i v'yakedesh oto ki v'ashal mikom melachato asher bara Elohim la'asot." So that he created to do. So la'asot is an action, to make or to do. And also the next verse in verse 4, "El todot hashemayim va'aretz behi bar'am b'yom asot Hashem Elokim eretz v'shamayim." So it specifically says that Hashem used the verb asa for the eretz v'shamayim. And there's a very interesting conversation or argument in Chagiga where the Beit Hillel and Beit Shammai were arguing which was created first, the Shemayim or the Eretz, and they all have different verses to support them. It's a very fascinating discussion, but it's based on this. The third word that Kabbalah uses for creation is the word Yetzirah, as in also the beginning of our blessing. It says Yotzer Or Uvarech Hoshech. So B'terem etzorcha mibeten idaticha. This is the first prophecy to Jeremiah, where Hashem says to him that he formed him. The word tzura today is a shape or a form. When they're talking about geometry, what is the shape of a triangle? What does a square look like? That's a tzura. And so those are the three main words. The fourth one, I don't have any verse specifically, but it's called Atzilut, and it's not really relevant to us. But I wanted to just show that so we can understand the different concepts. So we'll start like yesterday with the Ashkenaz Siddur for the morning blessing. So we start with the beginning, the introduction is more or less the same for all the nusachs. There's tiny little differences about how much Hashem has mercy, but in the first paragraph it ends according to the Ashkenaz, Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al sheach ma'aseh yadecha. So you should be blessed for the goodness and praiseness of your hands, of your hands action handicraft. So we started the blessing with Yotzer Or, and now we are changing it to Or that you made, Shasita. Again, the action, to make or to do. And in the Sepharad Nusach, it's same idea about the verb, but they add these words: Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu b'shamayim mimal ve'al haaretz mitachat, and the heavens above and the land below. Al kol sheach ma'aseh yadecha. So they also add the word kol, which means every kind of praise that we can do for your handiwork. Ve'al ma'oreh sha'asita, again that you made as opposed to formed. Hema Faruch Hasela. The Sephardi, in contrast, is the third word that we've discussed, which actually is more consistent with Yotzer Or. And so it says again, Tidbarach Adonai Eloheinu b'shamayim mimal ve'al haaretz mitachat. So you should be blessed for all the praise of your handiwork in the heavens above and in the land below. That you formed Hema Faruch Hasela. Okay, so the idea of what kind of praise the constant constellations give and the stars and all that is really depending on which world you believe it was formed. So without getting into Kabbalah at all, the Rabbi Melamed also mentioned this a few times, that the world of Bria is the first one that we started. Then there's Yetzirah, which is the forming. So like the Yetzirah Meorot and the animals and the plants and the trees, etc., and even man, right? And in Shabbat Rosh Chodesh, we changed the Nusach of Musaf to Ata Yatzarta, that you have formed. So Yatzarta is the highest level, and so the Sephardim use that level for the Meorot because of the beginning of the blessing, which is Yotzer Or, and the ending of the blessing, which is Yotzer Meorot. So that one is consistent. So we're not really sure why Ashkenaz and Sephard changed it. It might be that they're just somebody forgot, or because Yatzarta, like I said, in this sense makes more sense because of the beginning and the ending of the blessing. And the second paragraph of the blessing, again, we'll start with the Ashkenaz, Titbarech Tzorenu. So the Sfard and Sephardim add another word here. But I wanted to more concentrate on these three. Kulam Ahovim, Kulam Berurim, Kulam Giborim. So they all, most likely we're talking about the Meshartim, the angels that are praising Hashem. And it's according to the alphabetical order. If we continued, there would be 22 more phrases. But obviously, the rabbis who wrote this prayer only did the first three. And so Ashkenaz, for two reasons, only have these three. And let's go to the next one so I can show you which one is added and maybe discuss why. So Sephard and Sephardim have Kulam Ovim, Kulam Berurim, Kulam Giborim, Kulam Kedoshim. Okay, all of them are holy. And so if we were talking about humans, that would remind us too much of what Korach said. So Korach's first complaint to Moshe and Aaron was Vayomru alehem rav lachem ki chol ha'eda kulam kedoshim, because the community in its entirety are all holy, uvetocham Hashem umadua titnasu al kahal Hashem. So why are you raising yourself to be authoritative over the congregation of Hashem? We are all kedoshim. So that would be the main reason why Ashkenaz would omit that, because it might sound like we are talking about people, and then therefore Kulam Kedoshim was always in a very negative context. As far as I know, it doesn't say anywhere else in the whole Tanakh that those two words Kulam Kedoshim, and so that would be a good explanation why we omit it. But let's go back to this, just to again go back. It says Titbarach lanetzach tzorenu, so Hashem will be blessed forever, and because we aren't mortal, that is even more proof that we are not talking about people, that we are talking about the kedoshim that Hashem Himself created, the meshartim, the servants and the angels, and all of the srafim and all the other people, beings that are spiritual. They are all together saying Hashem's praise, and we are blessed, at least according to the Nefesh Chaim, we are blessed that we are able to join them and to repeat like them, Kadosh, 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 and Baruch Kvod Hashem Yikamal. Obviously, with those two verses, there's absolutely no difference between any NUSACH, because those are direct verses from the Tanakh, from the book of Isaiah and the book of Ezekiel. And so yesterday we jokingly talked about the final nun instead of the final mem. I'm not sure why that is, but the reason why I call it a joke is because I was told that Spanish people do not have a final mem, so maybe that's why. And last but not least, let's go to the third paragraph. We'll start with a Sephardi because Sephardi did not divide them. So v'chulam mekavlim alehem on malchut shani zeh mizeh. This is the angels accept upon themselves the yoke of heaven. The notnim reshut zeh lazeh, and they give each other permission. Lakdish liotzram, again the Yetzirah. V'nachat ruach b'safav v'ra v'nima kedusha. Okay, so with pleasantness, with clear language, and with a tune. And we said yesterday that the comma should really be here. Kedusha kulam ke'echad onim be'ema v'omrim b'yirah. So the kedusha, they all together respond with ema, with fear, and omrim b'yirah, with awe. So that's the Sephardi, and the Ashkenazi custom. In the Siddur Ashkenaz, it says v'notnim reshut zeh lazeh, just like it did in Sephardi, but at the end it says kedusha kulam ke'echad Onim v'omrim be'ira. We omit the word ema, which means trembling or absolute fear. I guess because again we talked yesterday about how Ashkenaz has less emotion, so even emotion that might be seen as negative, and Sephard actually adds two words that I think are very important, and this is how I try to say it when I'm not saying it out loud. So v'notnim be'ahava, so that the angels are giving with love to each other the permission to do the sanctification, and then sorry, um, and and the fact that they again onim be'ema v'omrim be'ira. So there's obviously different ways to translate ema, but the idea of Shema, even when it says v'yareta me'Hashem Elokecha, it's not supposed to be with real fear that something bad will happen. So we'll stop here, and if you have any questions.